In this session, I am going to give you a lecture on mission planning and control. This is our fifth unit. In last four unit, we have discussed about the various type of UAV applications and what are the aerodynamics propulsion structural requirements for the UAV and stability criteria for the static stability, dynamic stability with respect to direction, longitudinal, lateral and direction. All the stability criteria were discussed. In this unit, mainly we are going to concentrate on control. So we can start from mission planning and control. So what is the mission? So basically, we can see in our college itself. So we have already gone for the NPA also. For the NPA purpose, we have displayed the number of boards in our department, where you can see the vision, mission for the department and college also. Okay. From there itself, I will give the example. So vision means we are fixing the one long-term goal. Okay. To achieve the long-term goal, what we are doing right now, that is called the mission. Okay. Here also, what is the mission for our UAV? If you want to, if you want to do something based on the application purpose, okay, whether it is for the medical purpose or the war field purpose, we are fixing the mission for particular our UAV. Okay, so here we will discuss one by one about the control of our UAV. First, we can start from function of our mission planning and control station. This one will be considering as a nerve center of the entire UAV system. Why I am saying this is the nerve center for the UAV system? In same way, just imagine our body also, how our nerve center is functioning. Okay, it will collect all the information from all over our body and it will be given to our brain. So brain is a control station for our entire body. In same way, the MPCS will be working as a control station for our entire UAV. Okay, so it will control the launch, flight and recovery of the air vehicle. If you consider the different phases of launch vehicle, start from launch and recovery. Okay, in between we have the flight path and maneuvering, all those things are there. So all those things will be controlled by the our controlled by MPCS. Next, it will receive and process the data from internal sensors of the flight system and external sensors of the payload. Normally, if you want to operate the flight or air vehicle, so we need number of sensor. Since it doesn't have any pilot inside the air vehicle, okay, it is operated by that the human from the ground station. So we have that the control system only. Okay, through the sensor only we are operating. The sensor only will transmit the information how our air vehicle is moving. Okay, that only giving all the information about the flight path. So through the sensor only we are collecting all the information. So what are the internal sensor we have in our air vehicle system? For the linear movement also we have the sensor, that is called that the accelerometer. For angular position we have the gyro, that is also sensors. And for navigation, for the payload control, for all the things we have the sensor. So through sensor only we are receiving the information and sending the information also. Okay, that is a function of MPCS. We control the operation of the payload. For example, if you are using for agriculture purpose, okay, spreading the fertilizer is the payload. Okay, we have the fertilizer which will be stored below the air vehicle. From the air vehicle we need to distribute our payload. Okay, we need to spread to the plants uniformly. Okay, this is the control and operation of the payload. Next, provides the interfaces between the UAV system and outside world. Okay, interfaces mean if I give that the any input signal, based on that you have to respond. Okay, that is called the interfaces. That is a mutual connection between you and me. Okay, in the same way for UAV also we have the UAV system. If any UAV system receiving the commands or the signal from the workstation, based on it has to respond. Okay, there is a interfaces between the workstation and air vehicle. Subsystem. If any air vehicle, okay, has to operate effectively, we need number of subsystem. Without subsystem, operating the any air vehicle is a difficult. We can't operate also. So here, what are the subsystem required for us? First one, AV status readouts and controls. Okay, AV status mean air vehicle status. Status of any air vehicle will be given by the altitude, speed, speed. So those are the data are required to say what is the position of our air vehicle. Okay, that will be controlled by the subsystem. And second one is payload data displays and controls. So we have the display because if the air vehicle is moving with particular speed and it is moving away from us, okay, it is not within our visible area, how we can see the both air vehicle and payload mean through the display only we can see. Okay, so the pilot can see the payload and air vehicle through display only. Those things will be controlled by this subsystem. Next, map displays for mission planning and for monitoring the location and flight path of the air vehicle. For example, if I give the any mission, okay, for the mission, for example, so we are using one UAV from our college to, okay, our Majestic. Okay, this is our the mission plan. So from college to Majestic, it is following the one flight path. Okay, it has to cross the all the location. It start from the Baglur Cross and Yelanga, then Hebbal, then Makri Circle. Like that, it has to follow the map. So all the map initially given. So based on the map only, we need to operate the air vehicle. If our air vehicle deviate from the intended flight path, we need to give the command or the signal to correct the flight path. Next, the ground terminal of a data link that transmit commands to the air vehicle and payload and receives status information and payload data from the air vehicle. So here we have the ground station. From the ground station through data link we are transmitting the commands to the air vehicle and payload. So based on the information it will respond, and whatever control inputs given by the ground station, so we can get the output from the air vehicle and payload. Okay. Next, one or more computer at a minimum provide the interface between the operator. So already we have the ground station. In ground station we have more than one or two computers. Okay. Each computer will be working for payload control or the air vehicle control. Okay. So the computer will be allocated for either payload or the air vehicle control, and one computer will be used for the communication purpose also. Okay, through computer only we can give the input and we can get the output from the air vehicle. The last one, the communication links to other organization for command and control and for dissemination of information gathered by the UAV. So when we are making the mission, okay, the making the missions or the target will be given by any other organization. For example, so your government is giving the, okay, one task for us. So what is the task mean? So during the flood time, okay, flood time or any earthquake time, so we are operating the air vehicle to identify the human object. So this is the task is given me. At any instant, if they want to change the target, if they want to change any target mean, they can give the command and we can make the changes at any instant. So this is the one of the subsystem we have in our MPC system. So this is a MPCS block diagram. You can see the blocks, and we can start from that the input. Basically, okay, we can start from the input only. If you want to give any input, like if you want to change the any angle of deflection of the control surfaces we can give through the inputs only. So here we have the keyboard, mouse, joysticks, video players, printer, CD, DVD, memory devices. So these are the input devices and output devices we are using. So through these input devices we are giving the input, so that input will be received by the computer. Okay, then the computer will analyze the input and it will amplify and process the data whichever is required for our air vehicles. Then through the data link it will be transferred to the air vehicle. Same time, if you have any other things to be recorded from the air vehicle, it will be done by the recording and playback, payload displays and AV status display. So these are the things you can see through the displays. Okay, and finally you have that the one more block that you can see the right side corner, that is called that the command to other elements of the organization. If any other organization, not any other organization, the whatever task we are doing, that will be given by that the organization only. Those organization wants to change any other commands, or if they want to change the flight path, they can give their commands for changing the target. So through this diagram you can clearly see what are the subsystem we have for our air vehicle system. Here you can see that the flight computers, gyro stabilizer observation platform, and digital camera, other sensor, mission and payload control, communication subsystem. So these are the subsystem we have uh, we have uh, we have in our air vehicle. Okay, the flight computer, what it does, I mean, it will receive the data from the ground station and whatever the deflection required for our control surfaces, it will be given through that the actuator. Then we will be getting the proper maneuvering or stability. Okay, next, gyro stabilizer observation platform will give the location of the our location of air vehicles. Digital camera and other sensor, this can be used as a payload also. Otherwise it is mainly used to record the information inside the air vehicle. Then we have the mission and payload control. So the mission and payload control, once we are feeding the mission into the workstation, then it will read the all the mission plannings according to the mission planning. So the all the step by step processes will be happening. And if you want to control the payload based on the location or with respect to time, you can do by using of this subsystem. And finally we have the communication subsystem. That also operated from the ground station. So by using a MPCS, what are the things can be done? Okay, there are the two phases we have. One is the planning phase, another one is operation. In planning stage, what we are doing, process tasking messages, which means we are fixing our task, what we are going to do. Okay, that will be given by any organization. Next, in the study mission area maps, okay, once we are fixing the task or target, okay, where we are traveling, okay, from our initial point. So in that area we have the area map. The area map, how many buildings are there, what is the height of those buildings or trees, whether we can go with or without any obstacle. So these are the things will be analyzed through this planning method. Next is designated flight routes. What is the speed we supposed to go to reach the target, and what is the altitude we need to fly, that is also will come under the planning. Final one is provide operator with plan. Okay, the operator only will be giving the signal to the air vehicle. So whatever plan we have made, that will be given to the operator. The next stage is operation. In operation, first we are loading the mission plan. Whatever mission plan we have done, that will be loading into the MPCS. The second, we are launching the UAV. We can use any other launching method. Third one, monitor UAV position. So we have to continuously monitor the UAV position by using of our sensor, whichever sensors we have inside our UAV. The fourth one is the control UAV. Control UAV, how we can control the UAV? By using a control input, whether we want to increase the angle of attack or decrease the angle of attack, whether we need to give any side slip or not to maintain the stability. So all those things will be taken care by that the control. Then control and monitor mission payload. Monitor mission payload means we need to monitor the payload also. How we are doing for the UAV, in the same way we have to do it for payload. They recommend changes to a flight plan in between if you are facing any obstacle. Okay, obstacle means we need to change our flight plan. Okay, that also will be done by the done during this stage. Next we have provide information to the commander. Okay, suppose if you are going to change the flight plan mean that will be given to that the commander. Next is save the sensor information when required. So whatever the information collected by our sensor, that will be recorded. Okay, recover the UAV final. If you complete your mission, then we need to recover our UAV, then reproduce that the hard copy or digital tape and disk of sensor data. So we need to take it for our future application. Here you can see the two diagram. So in the left side will show that that is one kind of operator workstation. The another one is that the suitcase type, that is the mobile type workstation. So wherever you want to go, you can carry along with you. The left one, that is mainly used for that the larger type UAVs, mainly for the Predator, that is developed by USA. Here in this workstation you can see number of computers. So this is also one of the diagram showing the ground station setup. Here you can see that the pilot and payload operator console, and this is the computer where you can display the whatever data is collected by the UAV sensor. And next you have the communication antenna, whatever communication we are receiving from the UAVs, and whichever required for the UAV that we are sending from the workstation also. Now we are moving into air vehicle and payload control. Okay, what is the role of air vehicle and payload control? So it is completely remotely operated, so there is no human involvement. Okay, normally for any aircraft, whatever humans are doing, for example pilots are doing, or co-pilots, co-pilots, all those things are, so all the things here done by the air vehicle and payload control only. So that is assisted by that computer located on the ground and air vehicle. Okay, next function of the air vehicle and payload control. First, piloting the aircraft. So here we are giving the input to the control surfaces and propulsion system to start the aircraft and to maintain the any altitude to reach the target. Okay, next controlling the payload. So what we are doing, we are just pointing them, like once we are fixing the target, we are just making the point and performing the real time operation to reach our target. Okay, so we are maintaining that the flight path from the air vehicle to the target. Next, commanding the aircraft. So here we are carrying out our mission plan. If any other changes required, we have to made it and immediately it has to respond back. Okay, that is what we are doing here. And last one, mission planning. So here we are determining that the plan for mission based on the tasking that comes from the customer for whom the UAV is flying the mission. Here one organization is giving the task to us, so based on the organization requirement we can change the plan when it is required. So modes of control, here we have four various type of controls. First one, full remote control. So full remote control means, so normally the human will do all the things, right? For whatever UAV we are making, If you want to operate the UAV, we only operating it. Whatever control input is required, there is no computer involvement. Okay, only we are sending the information and it will be received by the air vehicle and it will be responding based on the control input. Okay, that is called that the full remote control. Next, assisted remote control means some of the things will be done by the humans and remaining things are done by the computer. Some computer mean computer assisted network. Okay, here we have the two loops. One is the inner loop and the outer loop. Inner loop mean mainly control based functions called as a inner loop. Outer loop mean where we can see that the navigation control. Third one is called the exception control. Here the computers will perform all the real-time control function, so based on the detailed flight plan, okay, or the mission plan also. Here we are continuously monitoring what is happening, whether it is following whatever plan given by us or not. Okay, we already given the plan to MVCS, whether our flight is following the same path or not. That is what called that the exception control. The final one, full automation. Here what is the role of human? Human will prepare only the mission plan. Okay, after that everything will be done by the automation only. Okay, that is called the full automation. Controlling the payload. So how we are going to control the payload? Till now we have discussed about the how we have controlled the air vehicle. So now we are getting into the controlling the payloads. So there are the three methods. The first one is called the signal relay or intercept payloads. Signal relay means we are using electromagnetic wave to control the air vehicles. Obviously, whatever object available in our earth, all object will emit some rays. Okay, so based on the electromagnetic waves or the rays, we can control the payload, which means that is useful to fix the target. Otherwise, whatever target we already fixed, by using electromagnetic rays, we can identify the target. Next, atmospheric, radiological and environmental monitoring images. So here we are using number of sensor. The sensors will collect the data. All the data will be stored in the air vehicle or the workstation. Okay, that data will be analyzed and processed. By using of those data, we can identify the targets. Okay, so this is the one method to control the payload. The third one, pseudo imaging payloads. Okay, we already have the map for the targets. Okay, from initial point to target, so we have the routes. Based on the route we have the map. So in the map whatever images we have, so by analyzing that the images we can fix the target. Okay, that is the third method. Here controlling the mission. Okay, so we already made the plan. According the plan we are processing it. Suppose if you have any other problem in between, sometime we may face the obstacles while executing that the plan. So based on the obstacles we need to change the plan slightly, then only we can achieve the target. So here also we have number of subsystem to control the missions. Okay, same time if the particular subsystem lost me, what we can do? Okay, that time also we have to be ready to make it success. First one is loss of the command uplink of the data link. So here the data link mainly useful for transferring the information from air vehicle to ground station. If you lost that command uplink, mean whether we can control the mission or not, whether we can success the mission or not, that is the question. Okay, so if you lost the command uplink also, we have to make sure we have to success our mission. Next, loss of GPS navigation. Mainly the GPS useful to locate any object, whether it is the air vehicle or target. For both things also we are using the GPS. Even if you lost the GPS, we need to identify our target. Okay, target. Third one, payload malfunction. The payload malfunction, how it will come? we are fixing the payload below the air vehicle. If any problem in the locking system, so from that only it will arise. Next, weather changes. This is the main problem for all the air vehicles. All the air vehicle, because we need to have favorable atmospheric condition for operate any air vehicle. Even if the slight change in the atmospheric condition, we can't operate any air vehicle. So that is the true for all the air vehicle. So those condition also we need to complete our mission. Change in flight characteristics. This is made due to structural damage. If you refer any VN diagram for a flight envelope, as we are increasing the airspeed, what will happen? There is a changes you can see in the structural side. Okay, as we go for the higher speed, that will affect the our structural also. Beyond one speed, what will happen? The structural also will get failure. Okay, here also if you are operating our UAV, so beyond the airspeed or beyond the altitude, there is a structural damage. Next is the something that has been observed with the sensor payload that requires a task that has a higher priority than the pre-planned mission. Okay, so these are the expected problems. Okay, these are the expected problems. Sometimes unexpected problem that we can't define also. Through the sensor only we will come to know. That time also we have to be ready to solve the problems. Autonomy. Autonomy, that is a word familiar to us because our college also autonomous. So autonomous or autonomy means we have our own regulation and rules make the policies. So here also the autonomy system mean, so we have our own subsystem. Okay, operator also, if any other changes required, we can make the correction and again we can feed it. That is called that the autonomy. So here operators operating the our air vehicle, he is observing any malfunction through the sensor, then he can change the plan. So according to the sensor data, he can correct the things to achieve the targets. Here we have the mission planning initially, then system management, path, motion planning, navigation. Third one is a control management, where it controls the flight stability. Till now we have discussed about the mission planning and control and the air vehicle payload controls. So these are the topics have been taken from Introduction to UAV Systems. That is the textbook I am using. So and next one more textbook also we have, that is Unmanned Air System UAV Design Development. So these two books you can download from LiveGen. Already I have mailed you also through one of your friend. You can download and refer this book for the more contents. Thank you. If you have any doubts or clarification, you can mail me. I will clarify your doubts.